The story kicks off with our main character chopping a salad at lightning speed for his business. Right after, he cracks an egg into a sizzling pan. With everything prepped, he finally announces that he's ready for today's grand opening. Meanwhile, a few men in suits watch his food truck from a distance, commenting that he's about to open any minute now. Just then, a notification about the location of Deok-chun's food truck spreads like wildfire across the entire city. The news sends everyone into a frenzy, and even passengers on a bus are begging the driver to step on it. Even teachers decide to ditch their classes mid-lecture just to get to the food truck's location. In offices, people start asking for the day off so they don't miss the chance to eat our guy's food. In a control room, someone monitors the crowd, which has exploded from 100,000 to over 1 million people. Seeing the situation, a mysterious woman decides she'd better get going before it's too late. She seems dead set on finding Miss Deok-chun, saying that this time she won't lose him. With that, countless girls start running, driving, and doing whatever it takes to get to the food truck. One young woman, in particular, has a look of pure anticipation as she rushes to find him. This small food truck seems to be the center of attention for nearly every single person in the city. And there, our guy says that this time, he's not late to open his food truck. And all that earlier prep results in an array of incredibly delicious and diverse dishes that would leave the food critic from Ratatouille speechless. This is Deok-chun, our hero and a true culinary master. From his food truck, he welcomes the massive crowd of customers that has suddenly appeared from every direction. The crowd goes wild for his food, and the place is filled with a pink aura. Maybe it's not just the food that has these girls head over heels. But before all this craziness, we see a flashback of Deok in his dark room, glued to his phone. His phone is flooded with notifications about loans and overdue debts. We find out he lost 300 million won in a side hustle scam. The scheme revolved around buying items and writing reviews with the promise of a huge profit. He saw a news report showing how hundreds of other people were also duped. What hurt the most was the bitterness of being tricked, which even caused him to lose his regular job. Feeling like there was nothing he could do, he decided to buy a bunch of booze to drown his sorrows. So, our MC was out on the street, drinking alone in the middle of the snow, getting wasted, until out of nowhere, he smelled something incredible coming from a mysterious food truck. The sign on the truck showed the name Deok-chun. But when he checked his pocket, he realized he only had a few coins to buy any food. The cook then notices the MC's gloomy expression and asks him why the long face. But our drunk hero snaps back, telling the cook not to talk like he knows anything about his life. He continues to glare at the chef, his eyes filled with suspicion and resentment. In response, the cook, wearing a bandana with Deok-chun on it, just laughs and offers him some free takoyaki, thinking the MC was just hungry. Our main character is practically drooling over the food, even though he's suspicious of all this kindness. So, without a second thought, he takes a huge bite of the warm, juicy-looking octopus ball. In that instant, an explosion of flavor hits him, leaving him completely paralyzed. The soft batter and chewy octopus take him on a journey through outer space. Then, the sauce and toppings wrap around him like the Milky Way itself. He feels as if an entire universe is melting inside him, warming his very soul. That flavor is so comforting that it makes our guy cry like a baby. The chef, with his classic humility, asks with a teasing tone what he thought of the food. In tears, our main character cries and expresses a desire to make people feel what he's feeling with that flavor. Seeing the determination in his eyes, Deok-chun asks him what he's waiting for. With a smile, the kind chef invites him to come aboard the food truck. 3 years later, our guy has worked hard to repay Uncle Deok-chun's kindness. With a photo of his mentor in the food truck, he feels the debt in his heart can never truly be paid. The old chef's scoldings still echo in his mind, like a ghostly mentor guiding him. So, our hero promises that the name Deok-chun will become a household name across the country. Elsewhere, in a ritzy neighborhood, we see a luxury restaurant with waiters. 2 employees watch a woman and gossip, wondering if it's even possible to rent out an entire 3-star restaurant. This woman is the only daughter of the world's largest conglomerate, the SH Group, who is at the restaurant. Her name is Nam Si-hee, and she's surrounded by a team of chefs and waiters just for her. On their phones, we see that the girl takes a helicopter to college and rents private islands for a casual afternoon. The employees are green with envy over the millionaire life she leads. But Si-hee's expression reveals a deep disgust for what she's cutting on her plate. Her life is constantly judged and watched by everyone around her, down to the smallest detail. This fake and shallow life has left her sick and tired of everything. The dishes are made only to suck up to her and have no sincerity, just the taste of money. Then, something shocking happened. She ended up throwing up the food made by the world's best gourmet chef. She wipes her mouth and realizes that money can't fill the emptiness she feels inside. Placing her fork on the table, she feels trapped in a suffocating display case. Her eyes close as she feels like she's fading away, a little at a time. Back in the present, we see the city's chaotic traffic. Inside the car, he says she can't breathe. The driver notices and asks if the young miss would like him to open a window. But she just smiles and writes sorry on the car window, leaving the driver behind. And with incredible agility, she gives her driver the slip by leaping over the cars. Desperate, the driver calls his boss, Chief Kim, to report that the young miss he has run away. He walks freely through the streets, feeling liberated. She cleverly left everything behind in the car, so she couldn't be tracked by anyone. He is determined to live as the real Nam he for a while. However, she worries about how long she'll survive with just a few checks, each for 10 million won. Walking down the street, she comes across a help wanted sign. The ad offers 13,200 won per hour, and she decides to take the job. At her new job, he greets customers with a radiant smile. But soon a huge guy shows up questioning the buy one, get one free promotion. The young woman confirms the promotion with a smile and hands over the product, leaving the guy confused. A moment later, a drunkard tries to trade a chicken for a bottle of soju. To everyone's surprise, she accepts the trade and takes the chicken without complaint. Seeing the mess in the store, a man worriedly asks if Miss he is okay. The store is in chaos, with a giant chicken running around and people passed out on the floor. She replies with a thumbs up. The store owner then orders everyone to get out immediately. It seems the heiress didn't do so well and got fired from a small convenience store. Elsewhere, a boss sends her away because she dresses like the rich girl Nam he. She tries again but gets kicked out again, with the boss saying he can't work with people like her. She doesn't give up and now tries her luck at a corner coffee shop. There, she's confused, not understanding what she did wrong since she was cheerful and polite. She then gets her coffee and asks the boss how much it costs, showing him her checks. Seeing an opportunity, the boss replies that the drink is 60 million won. He is in shock, drooling at the absurd price of 60 million. With that, she apologizes and runs out of the coffee shop, while the barista is left confused. But the boss notices she left the checks on the counter and tries to call her back. Defeated, he collapses on the ground, realizing how hard life is for regular people. She cries, concluding that without money and status, she's absolutely nothing. Suddenly, a delicious smell catches her attention. It's the food truck where our protagonist works. The smell was coming from delicious fish-shaped pastries that were being prepared. Our protagonist asks how many she'd like, but the girl is so mesmerized by the food she can't say a word. Our hero thinks she's a bit weird for staring so intensely. The ever-confident heiress he is left speechless. Embarrassed, she asks if he accepts credit, explaining she's been fired from all her jobs. Our guy turns down her request, and his master's ghost comments that she doesn't even have 501. The girl's expression changes completely as she feels powerless once again. She feels useless, and it reminds the protagonist of how he used to be. So, our hero invites her to come up into the food truck, leaving the girl surprised. Our hero then asks her to make a fish-shaped pastry to start. He is all clumsy, and our guy hurries her along, saying he's really hungry. Not knowing what to do, she pours the batter into the mold the way she thinks is right. Right after, she adds the red bean filling, wondering what the ideal amount would be. The heiress closes the mold, unsure if she pulled it off. She desperately hopes that her first real job will be a success. But the result is a complete disaster, and the fish-shaped pastry comes out totally burnt. With that, he apologizes for the mistake, feeling pathetic for not being able to do something so simple. To her surprise, our hero picks up the pastry and takes a bite. Deok-chun says it's edible and offers her a coin as payment for her service. Then our protagonist asks if she wants to work with him since she's unemployed. The heiress ponders the unexpected offer. Seeing that she hasn't answered, our hero says it's fine if she doesn't want to. But the heiress accepts the offer with great excitement, holding his hand with the coin in it. The girl then calls him Miss Deok-chun, overjoyed to finally have a job. So the workday ends and he thanks a customer with a radiant smile. With her help, our hero managed to sell out the entire food truck stock. The heiress then asks excitedly if she was a big help to him. Our protagonist gets a bit awkward and thinks about what to say. He then shows her the box of burnt pastries she made and says it was so-so. He is relieved by his answer and promises she'll try harder the next day. Our guy thinks that it doesn't matter what she calls him, as long as he makes his uncle's name famous. Noticing she's cold, he offers her his jacket to keep warm on the way back. The heiress is incredibly touched by his kindness and presses the jacket against her face. Meanwhile, Uncle Deok-chun's ghost is overjoyed and proud of the protagonist's actions. Back at the food truck, our protagonist offers to give her a ride, but an awkward silence fills the food truck. Then he reveals that she finally got a job but has nowhere to sleep. This revelation leaves our hero and his master's ghost completely stunned. He can't believe it, as he never would have imagined that a girl dressed like a celebrity was homeless. With that, our hero offers her the day's pay and tells her to find a place to stay. He blushes deeply after the protagonist offers her the money. Seeing her reaction, The protagonist thinks that she really knows how to make someone worry. So, with few options, he just drives the food truck. For dinner, the protagonist prepares some ramen for Si-hee. He then informs her that ramen is all they have to eat at the moment. The young woman is super excited about the idea as she holds a small cat. She remembers a fancy seafood noodle dish she once had. The girl says she's only had ramen once, and our hero thinks she's so poor she could only afford it one time. But in reality, she never ate that kind of thing because of her strict diet. The heiress then hugs the cat and says it looks a lot like Mr. Deok-chun. Our protagonist explains that the feline is just a stray cat that shows up from time to time. Si-hee comments that she thought this place was just a shelter for the kitten, but our hero reveals that this is his home, leaving Si-hee surprised. Soon after, the ramen is ready, and he offers her a bowl. Without wasting a second, Si-hee tries the ramen, and her eyes light up with the incredible flavor. She devours the food and says it's delicious, leaving our protagonist a bit embarrassed. Si-hee comments that the noodles are spicy but soft and asks how he managed to do that. Then we see his secret, which is simply beating an egg with a little milk to create a mixture. Next, you just take the cooked noodles and mix them well in the bowl to coat every strand. Finally, he carefully pours the broth over it, and the dish is perfect and ready to be served. With a full stomach, she says she can't remember the last time she ate so much and thanks our hero. When it's time to sleep, the heiress he says she'll stay on the floor so as not to abuse his kindness. But our guy closes a curtain and says they can share the space without any problem. Lying down, she asks if he's cramped, but our self-sacrificing guy says he's not at all. The uncle's ghost thinks she's the perfect daughter-in-law and calls our protagonist a moron for being such a blockhead. She thanks him for the day because she wanted to feel like she could do something on her own, and that he was the first person who truly believed in her. She feels that for the first time, she lived as the real Nam Si-hee and not as the rich girl. Because he gave her such a precious day, Si-hee promises that she will change our hero's life. The heiress he then asks how much it would cost for him to fulfill his promise. He doesn't answer, so she decides to open the curtain. When she looks, she sees our hero sleeping peacefully, with his ears completely plugged. Then, the unexpected happens, a blinding light and the super loud noise of a helicopter. The window shatters, and a special agent reports on the radio that he's found the young miss. The agent grabs her and carries her to the helicopter while she screams for Mr. Deok-chun. The uncle's ghost watches in despair as the girl is taken away. But our protagonist continues to sleep while the old uncle screams for his lost daughter-in-law. The next morning, sunlight illuminates the broken glass on the floor of the room. Our hero wakes up confused with no idea what happened. He's completely baffled by the mess. Then his routine starts all over again in the food truck. His master's ghost laments, thinking he had finally gotten a daughter-in-law. On a large screen, an ad featuring Si-hee appears, and the ghost recognizes her. He then shouts her name, shocked to realize who she really is. With that, the uncle's ghost puts it all together and wonders how he didn't realize who she was before. Her promise to change his life and her question about the cost echo in the ghost's mind. Then the ghost uncle freaks out, calling his nephew an idiot for missing such a golden opportunity. He remembers the chaotic departure and thinks he'll never see her again. But to his surprise, the heiress he suddenly appears saying she's back. Our protagonist asks what happened, since she disappeared and broke his window. She then hands him a check as a thank you for the previous day and for the trouble caused. The ghost uncle is stunned to see that the amount is for 1 billion won. At that moment, our guy starts to get suspicious. So he stares at the check while the old uncle is still completely dumbfounded. He ignores the confusion and asks what the special of the day is at the food truck. Thinking the check is fake, he throws it in the trash and says the special is fried chicken. The girl gets super excited to hear that she'll be eating the famous Korean fried chicken. At this, the ghost uncle panics and screams that the money is real as he desperately tries to grab the check from the trash. He asks if she can help, and the uncle gets angry that she didn't see our guy's stupid move. Deck starts to sweat seeing He's reaction. He is shocked because she knows 15 languages but has never prepared batter before. Even so, she ties her hair back and, with a determined look, says she'll do her best. Deok looks at her with a bored expression, unimpressed by her enthusiasm. He warns her that her clothes might get dirty, and she asks if her outfit is okay for work. He tells him not to worry and starts to change right there in the food truck. She takes off her oversized outfit and throws it on the floor. And to his surprise, she reveals she brought a super comfy set of workout clothes. Our protagonist turns completely red, shocked by the girl's revealing attire. Then, without a second thought, he throws the contents of a bowl into the hot oil. With that, the oil explodes everywhere, and she gets startled by the loud noise. The pieces of chicken fly all over the place, and the girl screams in fear at the explosion. Seeing the danger, our hero acts quickly to shield her from the hot oil. He protects her with his body and asks if she's okay as the oil splatters like fireworks. He's heart is pounding, and she wonders what to do with this incredible, mesmerizing man in front of her. He is completely hypnotized and whispers his name. Then, suddenly, someone shouts for He, catching the protagonist's attention. He is completely taken aback, and she says her mother's name while the two are in that rather intimate position. Soon, she has a flashback. In a recording studio, someone announces that the chairwoman of the SH group has arrived. This is Yoon-hee Young, He's mother and a super powerful and intimidating woman. Without beating around the bush, the chairwoman asks where her daughter, the heiress Hee is. An employee nervously replies that she hasn't arrived yet and is unreachable. With a cold gaze, she calls for her secretary Kim, who promptly answers the call. Then Yoon-hee Young decides she will look for her missing daughter herself. Back in the present, our guy notices the commotion outside the food truck. Uncle Deok-chun's ghost panics when he recognizes the chairwoman of the SH group. Suddenly, several men in suits storm the place to attack Deok. He is quickly overpowered and forced to kneel before the powerful chairwoman. Secretary Kim, with her intimidating posture, asks if she should take care of the protagonist now. But the chairwoman tells them to calm down and that she will hear what they have to say first. Sitting in her imposing chair, she says she will listen, no matter what excuse they come up with. She comments that these could be his last words, leaving Deok completely terrified. Our hero explains that they just worked together, and there's nothing more between them. The heiress he confirms our guy's story and asks her mother to believe them. Then the chairwoman picks up a piece of fried chicken and curiously asks for the price. Our protagonist replies that it's 10,000 won and she finds that absurd for just one piece. He tries to correct her, but the chairwoman ignores him and addresses her daughter with a serious look. The chairwoman then asks if our hero knows who the famous Namsi he is. Deok, with a bored expression, replies that he has no idea who that is. He's mother thinks he's pretending because of the social class difference between them. And without further ado, she asks directly if he likes her dear daughter. Deok-chun is very direct in his response and says that he doesn't like her at all. With that, the chairwoman turns to her daughter and concludes that she is in love with him. And with a furious look, she asks if he spent the previous night with her dear daughter. He gets all embarrassed as their conversation progresses. But the chairwoman faints from all the drama, and Secretary Kim panics. Already irritated, our guy insists that nothing happened between them last night. The chairwoman then gets closer and asks if he's just dating her daughter. Our hero denies it, but the chairwoman pressures him, asking if he's going to marry her. With a look of contempt, she says that a street vendor like him has no right to even think about it. Our protagonist is left speechless by the woman's arrogance. Then the chairwoman calls for Secretary Kim to bring something special. The secretary opens a briefcase full of money. The heiress and the ghost uncle shout for the chairwoman to stop this madness. She offers 10 billion won, and the ghost uncle, overjoyed, already calls her mother-in-law. Money flies everywhere like a shower of cash. He is in shock, covering her face, unable to believe her mother's actions. But the chairwoman maintains her cold, calculating gaze, not caring at all. And with that, she tells him to take all that money and marry her daughter. Our hero is completely lost, with the proposal and money flying in his face. He is completely embarrassed as the two of them stare at each other. The chairwoman ignores the chaos and keeps telling him to take the money. Seeing this, he screams for her mother to stop this crazy stunt. But the chairwoman doesn't even care and, with a mocking tone, tells him to marry her daughter. Chun, sweating bullets, repeats the word marriage in disbelief. He hides behind her mother, dying of embarrassment from the scene she's causing. With a superior look, the chairwoman says there's one condition for the marriage. Without even hearing the demand, our guy firmly replies that he's not interested. The chairwoman finds his attitude cute and tells him not to get scared just yet. Then she reveals that he needs to get rid of the food truck and work for the SH group. He needs to have the same status as her daughter to marry her. With that, our protagonist slams his hand on the briefcase of money in front of him, and with a dark look, he asks if her real interest was his food truck all along. He gets closer to her and says he has a good nose for these things, surprising the chairwoman. He leans in and says he smells a scammer on her. The chairwoman likes his spirit but adds a condition. With a furious glare, she says she hates horses she can't tame. Our guy grabs some food and says he won't hand over control to anyone. Then he turns his back and tells the chairwoman not to look for him again. Our hero says the same thing to Miss Namsi He is devastated and tries to reach out to him, but it's too late. Elsewhere, we see the imposing building of the famous H group. Inside, a plaque on a desk identifies the office of the company's chairwoman. There, he confronts her mother, saying she's lived her whole life following her wishes. She says that for the first time in her life, there's something she wants for herself. She yells that she found someone she likes and asks if the problem is money. Her mother just holds her coffee cup while listening to her daughter's outburst. Then she asks if her daughter looks down on him, because he's a stray she picked up. See, he is left breathless and speechless by her mother's coldness. With a completely frigid look, the chairwoman asks if her daughter is done with her little drama. She approaches her daughter and says she doesn't care who she dates because no one is on their level. In a dark tone, the chairwoman says she will let her daughter have that man. But to do so, she just needs to make sure he can no longer work in that pathetic food truck. Her mother intimidates her, telling her to do as she's told for the good of the SH group, and that she must obey as she has always done her entire life. With tears in her eyes, Si-hee feels trapped as her mother calls her a good girl. Meanwhile, back at the food truck, life seems to go on as normal. Our protagonist talks to his uncle's photo and says he protected the food truck he left behind. The uncle's ghost complains that he threw away 10 billion won for that business. Our hero then remembers Nam Si-hee. He remembers how she seemed just like him in the past but wonders if she only wanted the food truck. Deok-chun angrily taps the photo, realizing he was almost tricked again. Then, staring at his reflection, he says he will protect the food truck with his life. Back at the company, Secretary Kim throws herself against the door, begging the young miss to calm down. In her room, Si-hee throws herself on the bed and screams that it's all her mother's fault. In tears, she yells that 10 billion won means nothing and cries because our hero told her not to come back. She comments on how terrible and manipulative her mother is. Fearing her mother's actions, she feels she needs to be there to protect him somehow. Then she remembers our protagonist's serious but kind face. Si-hee recalls the moment he warmed her up with his jacket, and also that super intense moment they had in the food truck. With her face flushed, she admits she's already completely in love with him. Then she sits up on the bed after getting an idea. Si-hee suddenly screams, calling for her secretary. She runs to her, grabs Secretary Kim, and tells her to prepare everything immediately. With a super determined look, she reveals her grand plan, which is a proposal. Meanwhile, on a sunny morning, the protagonist's stray cat rests peacefully. Our hero wakes up and comments that the weather is perfect for business. However, he wonders about the helicopter noise so early in the morning. Looking up, he sees a helicopter airlifting his food truck away. Our protagonist is completely frozen in shock, unable to believe what he's seeing. Then it finally sinks in, and our hero screams that his truck is being kidnapped. Desperate, he tells the helicopter to stop immediately but is completely ignored. Without a second thought, our guy starts chasing after the helicopter. He then quickly stops and rents a bike to try to catch up to his food truck. Determined, he pedals as fast as he can to not lose sight of it. Exhausted, he arrives in front of a building and demands they return his truck. But as he looks ahead, our hero is clueless about what's happening. There's a brand new food truck, a real beast of a truck with a giant gift bow on it. Then the truck's door slowly opens as if it were a stage at a concert. And to his surprise, Si-hee is inside, dressed in a beautiful wedding gown. Si-hee calls his name with a super loving gaze and a smile on her face. She then says she prepared all of this with all her heart, especially for him. Si-hee happily pulls the truck's ribbon while our protagonist remains speechless. On the side of the truck, SH Dining Cruise is written in fancy, golden letters. Si-hee says it's an ultra-luxurious food truck made especially for our protagonist. She approaches him and says that from now on, they will be together in that place. But our hero is furious and forcefully pins her against the wall, asking what she did. Then, in a flashback, we see Si-hee in the kitchen with an apron, looking like a housewife. She tries to chop some vegetables but has zero skill for it. However, she receives some help. She then shows surprise at the sudden assistance. Our hero appears from behind and helps her, holding her hands gently. He says in a soft tone that he already told her not to do anything dangerous. Si-hee looks at him, flustered, and says she just wanted to help Mr. Deok-chun. Deok hugs her and says her presence is already a gift to him. And in a super romantic moment, he declares his love, and the two share a passionate kiss. But it was all just a dream of Si-hee's, who was trying to kiss Secretary Kim. The secretary pulls away confused and asks what's so special about that man. Then she remembers that the young Mrs. Simplest assets are already worth 900 billion won. On top of that, she has a secret art collection worth 30 trillion won, and even a private space station and fleets of secret submarines. The secretary freaks out, saying that compared to all that, poor Deok only has a tiny little truck. But Si-hee says that Deok-chun filled a void that nothing else could. She explains that of everything she owns, nothing was what she truly wanted. But now she has something she truly desires and doesn't want to lose under any circumstances. That moment with him in the food truck was like magic, and it didn't matter who she was. In that place, she found a happiness that money can't buy. That's why she prepared all of this for herself, because she just wants to be happy. And of course, she's also going to make Mr. Deok-chun the happiest man in the world. Like a Cinderella, she promises to change everything for him, turning him into a true prince. She tells him not to worry and to just put on the glass slippers and come to her. However, her fantasy shatters into 1,000 pieces when she sees reality. Our hero simply steps on and shatters the glass slippers without a second thought. With a dark look, he extends his hand, moving closer to her. Furious, he still pins her forcefully and asks what she did with his food truck. He then tells her not to tarnish his uncle's name with that truck. He is completely confused and asks why he's acting this way. Secretary Kim gets furious and yells at our hero for treating the young miss like that. Deok-chun remembers the news about the scam that made him lose everything in the past. He explains that he knows they use pretty words to trick people and steal everything from them. With that, Deok says he won't fall for this scam again, leaving the secretary confused. He turns to He and says it doesn't matter if she's an heiress or something else. Our protagonist points to his uncle's name and says he has no intention of abandoning it. With a defiant look, he thumps his chest and tells them to try and take his food truck from him. He blushes and starts to wonder what he really meant by that. She realizes that to him, it doesn't matter if she's rich. He ends up misinterpreting his words, thinking he was talking about his heart and not the food truck. It clicks for her and he becomes super hopeful. Our protagonist stares at the two of them with a serious expression. He is completely in love with our protagonist. With that, our hero gets back to work, preparing his famous corn dogs. He finishes the dish with a master's touch, stylishly sprinkling salt. And with a smile on his face, he offers the food to the next customer in line. Hiding he vows that she will help him sell out his entire stock for the day. Our guy finds it strange but is happy that business is going so well today. But he notices that there's something weird about the customers. One of them praises the food before even tasting it, and our hero gets suspicious right away. The disguised he notices the protagonist's suspicious movements, looking for someone shady. With the cat sleeping peacefully, our hero ignores the weird guys and calls the next customer. Then the heiress approaches and says she'll buy everything, but our guy recognizes her and refuses. She tries again with another disguise, but he insists he won't sell to Miss Nam He. Not giving up, the girl tries her luck with a cute costume, and he loses his patience. Our protagonist calls her persistent and yanks the giant kitten head off her head. Frustrated, he asks why he won't sell to her. She insists that he needs to give her a chance, and our guy questions her confidence. He yells and asks what she needs to do, saying she's ready for anything. Duck seems to consider her proposal for a moment. Then, without warning, he gives her a sudden hug. He is completely taken aback by his sudden move. Blushing furiously, she panics, thinking she's not ready for this yet. She imagines a super romantic kiss happening between them right then and there. She closes her eyes and prepares herself, saying she's ready for Miss Deok-chun. Our hero stares at her, confused, and asks what Miss Nam he is doing. It turns out he was just putting an apron on her and didn't understand her reaction at all. He says that if she wants to eat, she'll have to earn it fair and square. With that, the heiress changes clothes and accepts the challenge, all excited and ready to work. Our guy is annoyed by her enthusiasm, so he just tells them to get to work, and he agrees, a little disheartened. On the job, the heiress serves customers, while someone discreetly takes a photo of her. In another photo, the heiress appears happy, putting sauce on a corn dog, but completely missing the corn dog. In the next one, she nearly blows up the fryer, sending our hero into a total panic. After all the chaos, he finally gets to taste the snack she made herself. And the last photo captures the two of them together at the end of the day in a super cute moment. We find out it was Secretary Kim taking the photos and talking to the chairwoman on the phone. Her look reveals that she's plotting something against our protagonist. Elsewhere, we see he feeling sick at an amusement park. Secretary Kim supports her and apologizes for the young Miss's condition. It seems our hero is accompanying the two of them through the park. Suddenly, he gets super embarrassed about what just happened. She tries to blame the secretary for her stomach rumbling, but our hero heard everything. The secretary takes the blame, but Deok-chun knows very well it was he. With that, Secretary Kim gets furious and is dying of embarrassment from the situation. The heiress then says she's going to the restroom and asks Deok-chun to wait for her. While waiting, our guy picks up a toy gun. Secretary Kim challenges him to a bet in a shooting game. Our protagonist gives her a bored look, not really caring about her. He then aims the gun and asks what she really wants with this. Being direct, the secretary cocks her gun and says she'll get straight to the point. Then she tells him to choose one of the options she's about to give him, and for him to choose between kicking the bucket or... The unexpected proposal was for him to fall in love with her, leaving our hero surprised. Later at home, the protagonist's phone won't stop buzzing with notifications. Coming out of the shower, Deok wonders who's sending so many messages. It's he asking him out on a date, but he ignores her and leaves her on read. He decides to ignore her, but the phone keeps vibrating nonstop, annoying him. Our hero then goes to his computer and opens an unread email that just arrived. Seeing the result in the email, he quickly gets up with his laptop. At his food truck, he celebrates because he won the auction for the amusement park spot. And there at the park, he prepares his ice cream with incredible skill. This delicious ice cream with chocolate syrup and a cherry seems to be the main attraction of the day. Our protagonist then says everything is ready to start his business, but he finds it strange because there's no one at the park. The place is completely empty. And to make matters worse, opening time has already passed, and not a single customer has shown up. Our guy wonders if maybe the reason there's no one is because it's going to rain today. Suddenly, he appears out of nowhere and licks the ice cream he was holding. With a smile, she says his name and announces that he's finally here. Our hero is speechless, asking how she found him. Then a light bulb goes off in his head, and he seems to have figured it all out. With a suspicious look, he asks if the park also belongs to the SH group, but he makes a no sign with her hand, saying he's wrong. Then she reveals that no other customers will be coming today, leaving Deok-chun outraged. He throws money into the air and says she rented the entire park just for them. He comments that if she does this for the whole month, only she will be able to buy from him. With that, he realizes he's totally screwed as she gives him a victorious look. Then, with a smile on her face, she tells him to focus only on her today as she pulls him along. So she pulls him through the completely empty amusement park. But from a distance, Secretary Kim watches everything and says she'll handle the situation for the chairwoman. However, the chairwoman says she will give the orders herself and tells Secretary Kim not to get involved. Then the chairwoman asks the secretary if, by any chance, she doesn't trust her. Filled with rage, Secretary Kim clenches her fist so tightly she punches and shatters the wall. With a determined look, she says she will prove her worth in her own way. On a ride, she thinks that our hero is the cause of the problems, and her job is to eliminate threats. She then moves in to neutralize the danger before they get any closer. At this, she decides that to eliminate the threat, she'll have to seduce our hero first. The secretary remembers spending 5 million won on a dating course. She feels super confident because she has mastered every relationship theory in existence. On the other side, our protagonist continues to sweat, not understanding why she's staring at him. With the ride in motion, she says the first step is to maintain constant eye contact as she clings to the ride in a totally bizarre way. Then they go down the roller coaster with the secretary staring at Deok. The secretary screams with excitement as the roller coaster speeds up. He has a great time and shouts our protagonist's name out loud. Then on another ride, the secretary grabs our hero from behind, applying her physical touch technique. On a water ride, the three of them get soaked, and the secretary thinks her plan is perfect. The heiress he screams with happiness and asks if this isn't so much fun. After the ride, our guy is soaked, and he shows him a photo of the moment. She says it's the perfect moment for something she wanted and pulls him by the hand. Then they appear in school uniforms for a classic amusement park photo shoot. In a photo booth, he gives Deok a kiss on the cheek, who has no reaction. The kitten ear headband he is wearing makes her look even cuter for the date. On the pirate ship ride, he lets go of the bars and starts jumping on the protagonist, holding onto him. Seeing this, Secretary Kim jumps from her seat, calling the protagonist a loser. But as the giant ship lands, she loses her balance. She realizes the stupid mistake she made in slow motion. Desperate, the secretary extends her hand and tells the young miss to hold on to her. Our protagonist asks how she can be a bodyguard if she can't even stand up on a simple ride. Secretary Kim gets furious and asks what he just said. Enraged, Kim grabs the protagonist's arm, and in a swift move, she flips him over her shoulder and throws him to the ground. He's confused and asks if she didn't just ask him to hold her. Then the secretary holds he and wonders why he doesn't fall for anything. She doesn't understand why her seduction plan isn't working on him, because her theory was perfect, and she doesn't get what went wrong. Seeing that plan A failed, she decides it's time to use plan B. With that, she grabs the ride's steering wheel with all her might, and starts spinning it as fast as she can. He seems to be enjoying the speed, and is having a lot of fun with the situation. But our hero gets dizzy and yells for her to stop this craziness. Her plan is to confuse him and then brainwash him. The ride spins so fast it turns into a tornado, and Deok-chun and he scream in desperation. Annoyed, our protagonist grabs the secretary's hands and tells her to stop messing around. Secretary Kim is in shock because he's suddenly holding her hand. He stares at her with a super intense gaze, and she feels her heart race. The firm touch and deep eye contact make her own theory backfire on her. The secretary is completely flushed and speechless at our hero's action. He says he's dizzy, and she wonders if she's not the one falling for him. Our guy asks her to let go, but she refuses, and he warns that he'll get sick if this continues. She realizes he almost turned the tables on her and thinks he's no ordinary man. Then she looks to the side and thinks that the young miss absolutely cannot see him this way.